Welcome everyone to Christian Sport Bike Fellowship. It's good to see all these new faces today. It's very exciting. I'm glad to have you guys here. Instead of just being like a group that rides together, we want to make it more meaningful. So that's why we have the breakfast. That's why we want to have time to like get to know each one of you. And then we also want to like share a message with you guys so that we can take something out and apply it towards life. This week, we're going to talk about the topic of self-control, and it'll just be like 5 minutes or so of me talking, and then we'll have like some quick questions, and then we'll go to ride to Alice's. We're going to talk about self-control. We're going to talk about what self-control is, the problem, and then the solution. So what is self-control? Dictionary.com defines self-control as the ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotions and desires, or the expression of them in one's behavior, especially in difficult situations. That's kind of a lot to grasp. I liked another definition. It says that self-control is the discipline of delaying gratification now for something greater in the future. Raise your hands if your parents let you have ice cream as a meal. No one, right? No one, neither than me. Raise your hand if your parents let you have ice cream after you ate your vegetables, like most of the group. So a lot more. Parents teach children self-control when they tell them to delay gratification of eating ice cream by eating the vegetables first, because in the long run, they want you to grow up really healthy and strong, right? If they eat the ice cream first, they might spoil their appetite, then they won't get the vegetables to grow bigger. It's a struggle because children love ice cream, they love sweets, but they hate vegetables, so parents have to be like kind of strict on them to do that, to instill in them that self-control. But when you grow up, you start realizing that vegetables are good for you and that you want that junk food. It's kind of bad for the body, so it kind of like gets ingrained in you. What's the problem with lack of self-control then? So has there ever been a time where you did or said something and then you later regretted it? Maybe you lost money because you gambled too much, and then you're kind of greedy and you're like, let me just go all in. Like, I won $1,000, but I'm gonna go all in because I can win 5,000, and then you ended up losing it all. Or maybe you keep buying like new motorcycle parts, or you buy like a lot of like shoes or jewelry or something, even though you don't have a lot of money. Maybe you're overweight, but you can't stop eating. Maybe when you drink alcohol, you make poor decisions because you can't remember what happened, and then you get into fights, or you lose money, or you lose your stuff. Marriages can be broken when one person gives into the lust of someone else outside the relationship, and then people have lost relationships because they get angry at each other and say things that they don't really mean, and then they later regret it. So all of these are examples of why people need to exercise self-control. Like children wanting sweets, giving into desires is a lot more satisfying temporarily, but in the long run, it leads to brokenness. God gives us commandments throughout the Bible, not because he wants to kill our joy, but he wants to look out what's best for us, like parents who want to look out for their children. Proverbs 25:28 says, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. What is the solution then? How do we exercise self-control then? The world tells us that in order to exercise self-control, the solution is kind of in the phrase itself, self-control, self. If you just try harder, then you're able to achieve self-control. If we just have enough willpower, we can get over it. But then we can like stop drinking, we can stop smoking, we can stop spending, stop lusting, or stop getting angry. The truth is that's all lies. Humans are bad by nature, so expecting someone to be perfect when they're born imperfect is impossible. And we might be able to exercise self-control temporarily, but in the long run, we'll eventually fall back to it. In order to develop self-control, we need to first be honest with ourselves about our weakness and take that to God. He understands that we all have temptations and gives us an escape option. We have new people?
We got one more. There's like, he said there's a couple more of his friends coming, but they're late.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to keep going.
We'll just keep going. Yeah. So, yeah. 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way so you can endure it. So Matthew 4, 3 through 10 talks about Jesus, who was born both man and God. He was able to overcome temptation from Satan by rebuking him with the word of God. And he's able to help us when we're tempted now. Okay? No matter how tempted you may be in situations, Jesus felt the same temptation. And God promises us that no matter how hard the temptation is, he will provide an escape route. And we can always choose obedience over sin. I have 3 things, 2 questions and 1 reflection. One is, we're going to break into a time of answering these questions. The first question is, share about a time when you did not exercise self-control and what was the outcome. Share about a time when you did exercise self-control and what was the outcome. And then reflect during the week about how God understands your struggles and gives you a way to exercise self-control because of what Jesus did.
Every other weekend.